Welp, the Mad Lads did it. Sony, against all odds, retracted their decision on forcing PlayStation Network accounts onto Helldivers 2 PC players. The Helldivers community's efforts seem to have somehow paid off. This news comes 4 hours after I released my last video explaining the whole anthology of perhaps the most tragic, near self-destruction of one of my favorite games and perhaps the best one released all year. So this video serves as a direct sequel to that one. Miraculously, after review bombing the game into oblivion, and after many fans began returning Helldivers 2 in protest, the PlayStation Twitter account announced that the May 6th update that would require PSN accounts on PC will not be moving forward. So what does this mean for Helldivers 2? Well, aside from the obvious, there's a few points I want to go over. In my previous video, I mentioned that I believed likely nothing would come from this mass internet protest. In this day and age, sadly, the bare minimum is now a rare win for consumers. Video game publishers rarely listen to their consumers, but in this case, the Helldivers held the line, refusing to falter in their brave efforts to spam angry tweets and smash thumbs down on Steam. Yes sirree. Us Gen Zers and iPad kids managed to somehow collect perhaps the first internet slacktivist W in our history. And we didn't even have to go outside for this one. So where do we go from here? Well, first of all, it's midnight. I've been working on videos all day about this situation. Second, when the tweet came out after the 3-day battle, I honestly didn't believe it. It seemed way too good to be true. I thought it was from like a parody account or something. In fact, I still don't believe it. But still, this situation was absolutely fumbled. The whole disaster did not even need to happen in the first place. For the past 3 days, thousands of fans became worried that they might be barred from playing their favorite game that they came to enjoy. This was exacerbated through the hasty decision of region locking sales on Steam to numerous countries. This Sony move was an absolute train wreck. Sony should have held back and waited before making the decision and angering everyone further. Despite that blunder, the community will remember this situation as a bittersweet win, as we fully understand what level of control Sony still has over Helldivers. I'm usually wrong in predicting things, much like how I thought the Helldivers protest, while respectable, wouldn't work. This is one of my secret strengths, conjuring the opposite of my predictions by being as wrong as possible about them. Honestly, I should predict terrible things would happen more often. The world would likely be a better place. To be fair to my wrong prediction, I am kind of making it based on history. We don't get a lot of wins in the modern gaming industry. I'm thankful for this one though. This situation isn't totally over yet. There's an absolute wasteland in the Steam reviews section of both Helldivers 1 and 2. It's a straight up exclusion zone in there. Don't go in without a Geiger counter for your own safety. Also, again, we now understand what power Sony has over Helldivers. Sure, for the time being, we have won. But Sony may return in the future and attempt to get the PSN account train rolling again. Hopefully, if that does happen, they will be more prepared at the least and set moves in motion to allow players in all countries who could have initially purchased the game, register accounts, and continue playing the game. Thankfully for you, viewer, as I mentioned earlier, I am very wrong in my predictions, so Sony will definitely be back with PSN accounts for us Steam players in the future. You can count on that. Regardless of this great win for the fanbase, Helldivers aren't soon to forget this moment. To many fans, stuck in character defending freedom from tyranny, this was their finest hour. This was the ultimate battle. Sony was the final boss. Tons of players are still gonna be mad at Sony, and will likely remain frustrated if not suspicious of Sony as time goes on. They're gonna be straight up unnerved on every planet, shaken up with shell shock from the review bombing campaigns. The fanbase is definitely gonna have Sony PTSD after this event. The trees of Malevelon Creek are gonna start speaking PlayStation for thousands. Regardless, let's enjoy this momentary win. One that was very unexpected too. Looping back to my previous video, it's gonna remain uploaded as it recaps a pretty absurd moment in internet history. I have never seen a fanbase enter a state of uproar and fury so great it succeeded in influencing a publisher until now, and the video solidly recaps this historical event. Also, it took me an entire Sunday to create. So, like, I don't think I'm going to be taking it down. I also like the video too much. As for Helldivers, a new war bond is on its way, and, at least for the time being, it seems that the game is returning back to normal. Peace is returning to the home front. I closed my last video off with a message, something huge I learned from this situation. I still stand by this lesson, considering many artists and developers have been screwed by their publishers, record labels, and tripwire-laden contracts. This was the unfortunate fate of Destiny, and another significant example for me is Titanfall 2. The game is stellar and remains a cult classic for its tight movement and shooter controls alongside its awesome campaign and multiplayer offering. But its chances of success were killed by EA, who foolishly released the game in between the launch of Call of Duty and Battlefield. I urge you all, if you are envisioning a piece of art, writing a song, or a story you want to tell, something you have been creating or are beginning to create and want to make truly yours, go for it with unwavering dedication. And be absolutely careful with who you sign to, as they may just take your art and make it theirs. We almost saw that happen to Helldivers 2, but thanks to the media firestorm that recently ensued over the course of the last 3 days, Helldivers is saved for the time being. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.